Hello and welcome back to Via Travelers, the travel channel where we bring you the best destinations and travel tips from around the world. It's James here, and in today's video we're going to talk about the 15 best places to visit in Italy. Italy is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, known for rich history, stunning architecture, gorgeous countryside and coasts, and delicious food. From the romantic canals of Venice to the ancient ruins of Rome, there is something for everyone in Italy. But before we dive into our list, make sure to subscribe to our free Via Travelers newsletter to receive exclusive travel tips and updates on the best destinations around the world. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Ding ding, y'all. Alright, let's get started with our list of the 15 best places to visit in Italy. If you're looking for a bit of romance, Venice should be your top pick. This historic city is known for its winding canals, beautiful bridges, stunning architecture, and fascination with masks. This is easily one of the most spellbinding cities in Italy. If you're in town with your special someone, take a gondola ride through the canals. Architecture buffs will love the Venetian staples such as the Bridge of Sighs, St. Mark's Basilica, and the Doge's Palace. No, not that Doge. No Shiba Inus. Sorry. Foodies should hop over to St. Mark's Square, enjoy the architecture as well as some authentic Italian cuisine. My number one recommendation for visiting Venice is flying in during Carnevale. This historic, mask-filled festival around Lent showcases the very best Venice has to offer and is unlike anything anywhere else in the world. So book those flights now, before Acqua Alta swallows the city up. Arty types and fans of all things beautiful should look no further than the city of Florence. As well as fine food, this captivatingly beautiful historic city is known primarily for its art and architecture. Art fans should make a beeline for the Uffizi Gallery, one of the world's largest and most prestigious art galleries, featuring a huge collection of Renaissance artwork. Building buffs will be spoiled for choice in Florence, as there are a near endless incredible examples of breathtaking historic architecture to admire. There's the San Miniato al Monte, the Old Town Hall, the Florence Cathedral, Palazzo Pitti, and of course, the Basilica di Santa Maria del Fiore, often just known as the Duomo. You can actually climb to the top of the Duomo and enjoy some of the most awe-inspiring views of the city, which I cannot recommend enough. While Italy is rife with cities, towns, villages, and vistas that look as though they were ripped from the pages of a storybook, Cinque Terre is right up there in the top 5. Heck, maybe even the top 3. This beautiful coastal region is made up of 5 small towns: Monteresso al Mare, Vannazza, Cornelia, Manarola, and Rio Maggiore. Perched on cliffs overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, these medieval towns are made up of colourful buildings seemingly stacked on top of each other. This is a great part of Italy to explore on foot, especially considering that Cinque Terre is actually a national park and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, crisscrossed with hiking trails. It's also a top part of Italy if you're looking for a secluded beach vacation, or want to discover some hidden culinary gems. The seafood here is beyond superb, and the local wine is pretty fab too. This stunning stretch of coastline is known the world over for its picturesque fishing villages, glorious beaches, and breathtaking views. We just ran a video of this beautiful corner of the world, and you can check it out here if you want to learn more. Known for its mesmerizing beauty, the delights of the Amalfi Coast range vastly in terms of tourist traps and undiscovered paradises. Some of the best towns to explore include Ravello, Maiori, Minori, Sorrento, Salerno, Positano, and Atrani, regarded by many as the most beautiful settlement in the entire country. Consider that, I've just talked about Venice and Florence, so that's really saying something. Driving along the coast is a great way to absorb this lovely corner of Italy, but it's well worth looking into boat tours too. This paints even more glorious pictures of the coastline and gives you the chance to explore places like Capri. Whatever you do, make sure to try out some of the local cuisine here, and don't forget to indulge in some of the fresh limoncello. And bring some back. For me. Please. Siena is a charming medieval town known for its historic centre, beautiful architecture, and the famous Palio di Siena horse race. This fantastical throwback to medieval tournaments has existed in its current form for nearly 400 years, and is one of my favourite Italian festivals, of which there are quite a few. Held twice a year during July and August in the Piazza del Campo, 10 colourfully dressed riders representing some of Siena's city wards charge around bareback on horses over 3 fast laps. It's a surprisingly rough race, and quite common for horses to finish without their jockeys, and even for fights to break out among the crowds. Even if you're not here for the race, the historic Piazza del Campo is a medieval marvel that is well worth exploring. I'd also suggest taking some time to visit the stunning Siena Cathedral and ending the day with some traditional Tuscan cuisine. If you're thinking of visiting northern Italy, make some time for Lake Como, one of the most stunning lakes in Europe and the 3rd largest in Italy. Framed by the beautiful Lombardy countryside and the Alps, the area surrounding Lake Como is perfect for any sort of vacationer, from those looking to scale mountains, to folks looking to charter a boat or do some fishing, and travellers searching for a tranquil escape from everyday life. Your choices for accommodations aren't too shabby either. There's everything here, including lakeside and mountain resorts, chic modernised apartments, cosy traditional cottages, and swanky villas to book, with plenty offering views of the lake. And what views! The best way to get around Lake Como is by ferry, affording stellar views of the area, including top points of interest like the Villa del Balbianello and Villa Carlotta. Best of all, it's much cheaper than chartering your own boat, and you'll still get plenty of time to soak in this area of unique, natural wonder. Paris, London, New York, Milan. Milan is a famous cosmopolitan city known for its historic influences on design, art, and above all, fashion. If you want to get some serious shopping done, Milan is the place to be. Your first port of call should be Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. This just so happens to be one of the oldest shopping malls in the world and the oldest in Italy. As well as being home to some of the world's top designer brands and great food, the covered mall is a genuine masterpiece itself that you could spend hours ogling. It's also very conveniently located near some of the city's other top attractions, as well as other shopping districts featuring exclusive boutiques. And while it's home to high fashion, Milan is home to some of the world's most hallowed cultural treasures, perhaps none more valuable than the Church of Santa Maria delle Grazie, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, home to Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. Yeah, that Da Vinci and that Last Supper. If you're planning on visiting this artistic marvel, plan well in advance, as it gets quite busy here. The ruins of Pompeii are among Italy's most famous and popular tourist attractions. Despite being pretty thick with tourists at the best of times, I mean there's really no one else here, it's a ruined city after all, it is one of the world's most unique, interesting, and important archaeological sites. The ancient Roman city was famously destroyed and buried under ash and pumice during the violent eruption of Mount Vesuvius in August of 79 AD. Just about everything was encased in ash, from homes and businesses to people and even pets. As well as ruins, you can also see the casts of people who were killed nearly 2,000 years ago in this horrifying natural disaster. It's all pretty grim if you think about it, but this site has led to more discoveries about ancient Roman life than any other place or source in the world. You cannot miss Pompeii. Pisa is a small town with an overblown reputation thanks to its iconic leaning tower, which I recently said a lot of unkind things about in another video. You can be that person if you want to, but I promise that photo is not going to be worth it, and the area around the Leaning Tower of Disappointment is super tourist trappy. But that's not to say Pisa is without merit. Away from the tower, you'll find that Pisa has some of the best food in Tuscany and a beautiful historic centre with architecture that frankly makes the Leaning Tower look a bit underwhelming. My favourite example is easily Santa Maria della Spina, a small medieval Gothic church that may be one of the most beautiful churches in the country, and unlike the tower, admission is free. Pisa also enjoys great access to the city of Bologna, which is another great destination if you love Italian history and cuisine. Naples is known for its lively atmosphere, rich history, unique culture, and of course, its delicious pizza. Naples is Italy's third largest city and is known as the gateway to southern Italy. If you visit Naples, you'll find yourself within easy striking distance of places like the Amalfi Coast and Pompeii. Speaking of Pompeii, you can find a ton of artifacts from the ruined city right here in Naples, at the Naples National Archaeological Museum. One of the best things about Naples is that it's a real melting pot in terms of culture and architecture. You've got all sorts of attractions here, from the Royal Palace of Naples to Castel Nuovo, the San Gennaro Catacombs, and even Toledo Metro Station. I challenge you to find a more beautiful metro station anywhere. Naples is one of my favourite food destinations, and you can find a lot of unique flair around the city, especially around Via San Gregorio Armeno, Via Toledo, and the Spanish Quarter. Whatever your tummy is rumbling for, it's here. Just make sure you try some authentic Neapolitan pizza too. You know, just the sort Dean Martin would be hitting you with in the eye, or something like that. Tuscany is a beautiful region in west-central Italy known for its rolling hills, beautiful vineyards, picturesque towns, and some of Italy's best cuisine. Tuscany is where you'll find Siena, Pisa, and the region's capital, Florence. But there's so much more to explore outside the cities, as rural Tuscany is a fantastic destination for serene getaways. Exploring the hills, forests, and quaint villages is a must for anyone craving an authentic Tuscan experience, especially when it comes to food. This is one of the best places in Italy to enjoy truffle hunting, with many tours available where you, a guide and their truffle hound or hog, can search for these prized fungi. Better yet, many of these tours will feature cooking classes and dining experiences where you can feast on this yummy, whiffy gold. The wine in Tuscany is also legendary, particularly the Chianti, which pairs pretty well with a lot of truffle dishes. Rome, the capital city of Italy and the ancient Roman Empire, is home to a wealth of ancient ruins, stunning architecture, and delicious cuisine. A trip to Rome is practically mandatory if you've never been to Italy. While you could argue that most, if not all, major Italian cities are also major cultural hubs and major tourist destinations, Rome kinda takes this to the nth degree. There is literally nowhere else in the world where you can learn more about Italian history and culture with world-class museums blanketing the city. The array of historic and ancient architecture in Rome is simply staggering, with the highlights being St. Peter's Basilica, the Pantheon, and the colossal Colosseum right in the heart of the city. Rome is also home to a micronation, the one and only holy city-state that is Vatican City. Even if you're not Catholic, the Pope's stomping grounds are well worth the visit, just for the stunning Sistine Chapel alone. But ultimately, Rome is the best place to go if this is your first time in Italy, because it's got plenty to cater to all sorts. From beautiful parks, wild nights out, amazing food, historical and cultural attractions, and everything else in between, you really can't go wrong with Rome. The Italian Riviera is a beautiful stretch of coastline along the Ligurian Sea in the north of Italy. The area is a haven for seaside vacationers with tons of resorts to be found along the coast. The Italian Riviera, also known as the Ligurian Riviera, is considered by many as a great alternative to the Amalfi Coast. Here you'll find a lot of similar and equally beautiful examples of higgledy-piggledy medieval towns and villages, striking coastline, pristine beaches, incredible seafood, and serene natural surroundings. But the weather here, while normally beautiful for most of the year, is not quite as fiercely hot as the Amalfi Coast. The Riviera is also within easy reach of France and Monaco if you feel like an international day trip, and it's also home to Genoa, one of my favourite Italian cities, which frankly deserves its own video. Don't worry, I'll get there. While we're still poking around northern Italy, the Dolomites, or Dolomites if you will, is a mountain range in the northeastern part of the country known for its stunning peaks, beautiful valleys, and scenic hiking trails. Adventurers, look no further, as there are some incredible options for grand walks and steep hikes in this rambler's paradise. Hiking around Tre Cime di Lavaredo is one of the most popular walks in the Dolomites. This looming trio of steep mountains possesses a stern beauty and a commanding presence over the area. If you fancy yourself a bit of a mountaineer, you can climb them too, but the ascent can be tricky. I'd also visit the picturesque town of Cortina di Ampezzo, especially if you love skiing. The town is home to a few great ski resorts and views of otherworldly beauty. You should also take the opportunity to enjoy some of the delicious local cuisine. Unlike other parts of Italy, the food here is a lot more hearty, with a lot of Austrian and particularly South Tyrolean influences. Last but not least is Sicily, the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea, known for its rich history, unique culture, beautiful beaches, delicious cuisine, and being the spiritual home of the mafia. Depending on who you ask, a lot of people here will identify as Sicilian rather than Italian. Yes, this is a stereotype that rings true, and there is a reason for that. Sicily is one of the most conquered places on the planet. As well as the 3 native peoples that historically populated Sicily, this beautiful island has been invaded and conquered by the Greeks, the Romans, the Byzantines, the Arabs, the Spanish, the Normans, the Germans, the Ottomans, and even the British and the Americans. Consequently, the culture, and most notably the architecture in Sicily, are markedly different from anywhere on the mainland. But this just means Sicily is one of the world's top destinations for history buffs and culture vultures. There are countless incredible sites to explore, including 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, one of the densest collections of historical sites anywhere in the world. Not only that, but Sicily is home to some of Italy's most glorious beaches and some mouth-watering food. The olive oil produced here is some of the finest you'll ever taste, and it's used in just about everything. Apart from Rome, I'd go so far as to say Italy should be the first place you visit in Italy if you've never been. Just be aware of the culture shock between Sicilian and Italian life. And that's our list of the 15 best places to visit in Italy. Have you been to any of these destinations before? Were they everything you'd hoped they'd be? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our free Via Travelers travel newsletter to receive exclusive travel tips and updates on the best destinations around the world. Thank you for watching, that's arrivederci from me, and we'll see you in the next video.